Hello, everyone. My name is John Cottrell. This is Power Hour. This is a 60-minute power vinyasa yoga practice. Welcome. So glad you can be here with me to practice some yoga. So the title of this class is Hips, Shoulders, and Balance. These are just some things that I like to do when I practice yoga, and just going to share them with you. So focusing on some hip openers, which I really love to do. We always get tight in our hips, and I get tight in my hips. And so we'll be doing some hip openers, got some shoulder release, and I'm just going to throw in some balance in there too. And of course, we'll be combining all those things. This is a vinyasa flow class, meaning we'll be moving from pose to pose, just following our own rhythm of breath. Now, as I like to say, this is your practice. If you need to modify any poses or pause or rest, please do so. Or if I'm doing a pose and you prefer to do something else completely, please do that as well. Again, this is your practice. For our prompts today, don't really need anything in particular. I like to use blocks. I use them for sitting, and I've got some other poses that I use that I like to use blocks. I won't be teaching with them specifically, but if you like to use blocks or any other props, go ahead and get those. It might be a blanket or a strap or blocks, anything like that. What else? And maybe just a glass of water or some bottled water, and we're ready to go. So let me invite you to stand near the top of your mat and with your feet about hip distance apart, with your toes pointing directly forward. We'll start like this for a few seconds, just so you can feel and establish a sense of balance in the body. Maybe roll your shoulders back, arms just hanging down by your side, taking a few deep breaths. Now, standing in this fashion really establishes some nice alignment through the hips all the way down the legs. Now, if you need to change this, please do so. If you need to step out a little wider like this, or even turn your toes out, that's fine. Just be sure you feel balanced on your own 2 feet. Go ahead and continue rolling your shoulders. That's going to be one of the things that we're focusing on our practice today. Shoulders can get pretty tense, tight. It's a tie into our neck and our backs, and they too can get pretty tense as well. And so we want to find some loosening. So maybe some gentle circles backward, roll them forward, anything like that. And if you want to just throw in a little movement of the head side to side, ear to shoulder, very slowly, a gentle stretch, and even a nod up and down. Just look forward and then down. You don't have to look up necessarily. And then just come back to this stillness in our standing mountain pose. Return to your nice steady flow of breath. You might breathe in deeply to feel the breath rising to fill up your lungs. Then a slow and controlled exhale. You might want to breathe in so that you can feel your breath. Again, feeling the breath rise, filling up your lungs. And as you exhale, draw navel inward towards your spine. You're creating the abdominal lock. It's just a light engagement of your abdominal muscles. Also breathe so that you can hear your breath. We'll take a moment of stillness and silence so that you can listen to the sound of your own breath. Very good. Go ahead and take 3 more slow breaths in and out, and we'll prepare our bodies to move. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms into the air. Reach all the way up, a nice stretch. And as we exhale, we'll fold forward. So it's a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and just make your way down towards your toes. You don't have to touch your toes, but just a gentle forward fold. Then inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or your thighs to extend your spine, a long flat back. Exhale, we'll fold again, back down. We'll just hold here briefly. And if you happen to be hanging heavily forward, you might loosen up your shoulders again, your head and your neck, and even a little sway left and right with your whole upper body if you'd like.
Just do another halfway lift. You'll inhale, slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs, rising up halfway so we have an extended spine, and we'll exhale to fold. From here, just shift your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, and feel like you're sitting down into a low chair. Look forward. That should re-extend your spine. Sweep your arms out to the side and stand up. Reach all the way up into the air. Another nice stretch. Then exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Pause here for a moment. Return to the feel and sound of your breath. Let's repeat that same sequence. This is our half salute to the sun. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Big stretch. Feel that stretch through the sides of your body. Exhale, lead with your heart. Fold forward. Keep a good softness in your knees. Make your way down towards your toes. Inhale, rise up halfway. Long, flat back like a table. Exhale, we'll fold again. We're just moving with breath. Take your time if you need to. Shift your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees. Look forward. Arms out to the side. Then inhale, come up all the way. Reach up even higher if you're able. Exhale, hands together and down to your heart. Another pause. Take a couple of breaths. So that's our half salute to the sun. We're just introducing movement to the body. Still feeling the sensation of breath as we move. All right, let's add on. So our series A of our sun salutation. Here we go. Inhale, extend your arms out and up. Exhale, let's fold forward, keeping that good softness in your knees, hinging at your hips. Inhale, rise up halfway. Feel the top of your head lead you forward. As you exhale, bend your knees enough so you can place your palms on the mat. Walk or step both of your feet back. Take your time into plank pose. A long straight line in the body. We'll hold here for integrity and strength. Push into the mat with your hands. Feel the energy in your hands, arms, shoulders, and back. Breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees a little. Send your hips up into the air. This is a shortcut as we move into downward facing dog. Make some adjustments here with your feet, maybe your hands. You might even take the hands a little wider. I might even suggest spreading out your fingers just so that you're establishing a good base. Keep pressing into the mat. Even put a little bit more pressure towards your thumbs and index fingers. That way we're really feeling energy from the inner arms. Squeeze in towards center body. Feel free to pedal your feet here if you'd like, getting a nice stretch for your calves and your toes. Feel your knees bend. Allow your hips to shift side to side. Return to a downward facing dog. Hold still. We'll breathe in. And on the exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of your mat. We'll inhale to rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Shifting weight back into your heels, bend your knees. Let's reverse the swan dive. Come all the way up. Reach high. Let's keep this in motion. On your exhale, take chair pose or Utkatasana, a chair-like position right here. Keep extending out through the arms. Sit back into the imaginary seat. The weight's in the heels. You might be able to tap your toes. Breathe in. Then exhale, dive out of your seat, back down towards toes. Here we go, forward fold. Inhale to rise up halfway. There's our flat back. Exhale, bend knees, hands to your mat. Walk or step both feet back again to plank pose. Hold for a breath in. On this exhale, you might finish your push-up. Come down to Chaturanga Dandasana. You can inhale to up dog or a low cobra pose, just a nice minor back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog onto your toes, lifting hips into the air. Hold for a moment. And then our lunges. Inhale, extend your right leg up behind you, reach back. Exhale, guide right foot up to the top of the mat. Place left heel onto the ground, shifting your weight back into that foot. So you can easily lift your hands, reach forward, extending through the spine, rising up, facing forward, warrior one. And exhale, folding, again, placing your hands back down onto the mat. We'll step back into plank pose, finishing your push-up, coming down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. When you're ready, go ahead and inhale to extend left leg up into the air. And exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel turns to the ground, rooted back into the ground so the hands are light. Inhale, rise up, reach up, straight up into the sky, facing forward, warrior one. Exhale, folding again. Take your time if you need to. Hands back down onto the mat, step back, plank pose, completing your sequence. Now you could just do the shortcut right into downward facing dog if you'd like. There's our up dog, or take a cobra pose instead. And exhale, downward facing. Let's pause here. We like to take this to the ground next, so you can just kneel down and then take a seat or hop forward, cross your legs to take your seat. And just go ahead and lie down onto your back. Just be sure you're sitting in the center of your mat and go ahead and roll down onto your back. I'll meet you there. You're going to keep your knees bent and feet plugged into the mat. We're just going to move into bridge pose, but before we lift the hips, just take a moment to lie in stillness. Nice long spine. Feel this nice connection to the ground. Couple of breaths here. And then whenever you're ready, you'll take a nice full breath in, fill up your lungs. Exhale to empty your belly, nice engagement there to give you energy and strength so you can lift hips up into the air. You can always use your hands to help lift your hips up and hold yourself up, or just be sure you're really bearing down into the mat with your feet to keep the hips up. You can even bend your elbows at 90 degrees and just press down into the mat to help lift up a little higher, especially through the chest. And if you're able, maybe a little rock of your upper body left and right a little bit to get your shoulders a bit underneath you. That's going to really help you expand through the chest. You might even lift a little higher as well. So this is a very energetic pose. The whole body is fully engaged, fully active, heart opening. 2 more breaths. And when you're ready to move, you can just wiggle your toes forward or step forward a little bit. Extend your arms straight up into the air to release the shoulders out from underneath you, and then just roll your way down to the ground. Go ahead and inhale and draw knees to chest. And some circles here. Now, before we rock up to boat pose, which we typically do, let's do a little twist right here. Just get into the hips and low back. So just do a spinal twist. Let's start by taking the knees over to the left side as you extend your right arm off to the right side. We're not going to be here long. We're just introducing a twist. Maybe some deep breaths here. You might feel this through the sides of your body, your intercostals, your ribs, low back. One more breath in and out. Move on an exhale when you're ready to return to center. Hold here for a moment as the body realigns, and then we'll do the other side. So knees can go down to the right side as your left arm extends off to the left. Feel that all through the left side of your body, or low back and hips. Let's go ahead and take 2 more breaths here. And then we'll return to center. Pause here, just another gentle hug of the knees in towards your body. And then start to rock forward and back, finding enough momentum with a good exhale to rock your way up to seated, and we'll come to boat pose. So boat, or Navasana. So you can lift your feet if you like, flexing the feet. Maybe your shins are parallel to the ground. Energized feet. You can always point your toes if you'd like. Feel free to hold on to your legs here too, lifting yourself up to keep the spine extended. But we are at an angle. The more that you lean back, the more intense the pose may be. You can even release the legs here and free up your hands. That will also intensify the pose. If you need the reverse, hold on to the knees or bring heels to the ground, or even sit up a little bit to kind of lessen the intensity. All right, we're going to move here, breathing in. We're going to exhale. If you can, cross legs, hands in front to step or hop back into plank pose. Hold here to re-extend. Feel the strength in the body. And then bend your knees, lift your hips into the air. Our return to downward facing dog. Hold for a moment. Let's return to our lunge sequence, adding on. We'll inhale, extend right leg up. Let's open this up this time. We're going to bend your knee. Bring your heel down towards your backside, lifting the knee up into the air just a bit. We'll open up the hip a little bit with a bit of a twist in your spine. We're going to unwind it and then step through for warrior one. Landing up top, left heel turns to the ground. Find that balance. Inhale, rise up, first warrior, and our exhale opening to our second warrior. Hold here for a moment. You might even take a wider stance if you'd like that. Lunging a little deeper. Be sure this front knee is pointing directly forward. Just check in with your knee and toes directly forward so we can really intensify or emphasize the hip opener here. Let's take our side angle pose, reaching out to angle the upper half of the body. Rotate your arms. Right arm comes down while your left hand reaches up into the air like this. Nice extension, reaching up and down like you're reaching for the ground and reaching for the ceiling. Now, the hand reaching for the ground, you could be touching the ground. This is also where you might use your stack of blocks if you're using them. I typically just land here. Stay in this posture, but bring this left hand down behind you to your low back behind you like this, or even to your left hip. Roll this left shoulder a few times, roll it backward a few times, and then hold it back. So you really kind of feel this opening up through the chest and front shoulder area. This will also help to really extend through the torso, which is what we want. And it opens you up a little bit more here too. Let's inhale to re-extend, left arm up into the air. Turn, let's bring hands down to the ground. We're gonna step back into plank pose, hold. That nice re-extension and realignment of the body. And again, your shortcut to down dog. Hold. When you're ready, inhale, extend left leg up into the sky. And your exhale, so we're gonna open this up. So you're gonna bend your knee, lift your knee up into the air, a little bit of a twist. Then we're going to exhale, unwind it, step through, left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel turns to the ground, root it. Hands are light, rise up, first warrior. Exhale, second warrior. Settle in, check in with your body, look at your body. Left knee and toes pointing forward so we can really emphasize that hip opener on that side. Nice and tall in the torso with the arms extended. Side angle, reach out, angled upper body, rotate the arms. You can stay up even higher. What you might want to do is bend this left arm and just rest it on the thigh and open up. You're still in this angled position. This is still the pose. Or you might be reaching down even far enough to touch the ground or your stack of blocks. Reaching high with this right arm initially, and then bring this right hand down behind you to your low back or your right hip, if that feels a little bit better. Circle that shoulder a few times just to loosen it up. You're also engaging some muscles there. That takes muscle work just to roll the shoulder and then hold it back. And that's also engaging of the back muscles to hold that shoulder back. Nice extension through the spine. Even feel like you're going forward, being led by the crown of your head out past your knee. Let's inhale, re-extend, right hand up into the air. Exhale, carefully turned. Fold, bring your hands to the ground, step back, plank pose. Here, if you'd like, take the shortcut or finish the full vinyasa, chaturanga to cobra or up dog. I'm doing cobra right here. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pause in your down dog. When you're ready, a good exhale to walk, step, or hop, both feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale, extend spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, come all the way up to standing. Reach up into the air. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Very nice. Let's just pause here. Take a breath or two. Good. You can go ahead and relax your arms down by your side. If you want to, you can get a little sip of water. And then we're just going to go back to just kind of rolling those shoulders. Roll them back, roll them forward. Let's do a couple things here. We're going to do another little shoulder exercise, and then we're going to get into some balance. I'm just going to turn around so you can see this part of this. So just have your arms down by your side. We're just going to inhale, extend your arms up into the air, reach high. Exhale, bring them down slowly, but then reach behind you. Reach back. So it might be something like this. Just reach back. Very active in your hands. Shoulders rolled back. And if you're able, interlace your fingers. If that's not possible, just keep reaching like this, free hands, or interlace the fingers. And if you're able to interlace the fingers, just feel the knuckles reach down towards the ground, shoulders roll back, engaging your back muscles, squeezing your shoulder blades together. We're going to take a little bit of a chair pose, just going to bend your knees, just let them jet forward a little bit, and then tip over a little bit. So you don't have to go up you don't have to sit down too low. Your hands might just be touching your backside, but if you're able, just lift your hands away from your body if that feels okay on your shoulders. Now you can stay just like this or even go a little lower. I'm going to try to go a little lower. I'm just going to bend my knees, send my hips back, send my heart forward, and even lift my hands a little higher. This is about as deep as I'll go. And again, this is a little too, if this is a little bit too much, just release your fingers and just reach back with your hands. Okay, we're just going to stand back up, release your fingers, take your arms back up into the air, and then down by your side. Shake out the shoulder, even wiggle your fingers and rotate your wrists. All right, now we'll get into our balance. So tree pose, you're going to shift your weight over to your right foot, root your foot down into the ground, stand up nice and tall, nicely extended spine, core engaged. You'll float your left foot up, flexing the foot as you lift it, swing it out to the side, and then place this foot on the inside of your standing leg, maybe at calf level or at thigh level, or even down low by your ankle where your toes actually touch the ground. That's all correct. Nice and tall here. Then inhale, let's just take the arms out and up into the air with a good reaching sensation as you feel as if you're lifting yourself up. Nice long torso. It's okay if you lose your balance, need to step out of your pose. A couple more breaths. All right, keep the arms extended. We'll swing that left knee forward and then plant the foot into the ground and then bring your arms back down by your side. Feel free to give them a nice circle again. Shake it all out. Excellent. That takes a lot of energy, lots of effort. And when you're ready, let's get ready for the other side. We'll shift weight into the left foot, press into the ground. Feel tall, look forward, shoulders naturally rolled back. Core engaged as you exhale. Then float your right foot up, bending the knee. Put some energy in the foot by flexing it. We'll swing the knee out to the side like that, placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. High, medium, or low. You can always use the ground. Then when you're ready, let's take the arms out and up into the air. We're reaching up, lift. Feel that nice lengthened torso, reaching skyward. Right knee pointing towards the side of the room as best as you can. Although we are in balance, this is also a hip opener. To help with balance, focus on something out in front of you or even down on the ground. Just drop your eyes to something on the ground. Make sure you're breathing. Let's keep the arms extended. We'll swing that right knee forward, plant the foot back down into the ground for balance, and then your arms down by your side. Give them another circle. Excellent. Even your wrists here too. All right, let's continue with our sun salutes. Back at the top of our mats. Here we go. Inhale, sweep your arms into the sky. Exhale, swan dive forward. And inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, bent knees, hands to the mat, walk, step, or even hop back into plank pose as you're able, right? Come right down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Tops of the feet on the ground, toes pointing back behind you, and then downward facing dog. Hold for a moment. We're actually going to go to pigeon pose next. Inhale, extend right leg up, bend, twist open. Hold that for a second. Feel that knee lifting so you can get that hip opener. Little twist in the spine. As we exhale, we'll unwind. Keep the knee bent, but you're going to set the right knee down onto the ground by your wrist with an angled leg. You can place the left knee onto the mat, use your left knee and toes to crawl the left leg back. Now, if you need to, you can always do this posture on your back if this is a little bit too much. We're going to be holding this pose for a significant amount of time. So you want to feel your way into this. Take your time. So I haven't even made my way all the way down to the ground yet. So just take your time as you're settling in. Maybe your arms come down, your head might even come down all the way to the mat, or even just use one of your blocks or a prop to rest your forehead on. Now, in regards to this front leg, it's bent, it's probably at an angle. I've been having some knee issues lately, and so this pose for me just feels a little awkward. So what I could do, I have some options. I could lie on my back and do the thread the needle version of this, or eye of the needle version of this, but I can also do something a little different to take some of the strain away from my knee. What I'm going to do is actually flex my right foot just to activate it and even send my foot forward. Now I'm putting more of, I'm making my shin a little bit more parallel to the front edge of my mat, but it's actually aligning my knee in a better sensation where I don't have that funny little pain I was getting. So a flexed foot to activate the ankle and ankle and knee and hip. And then I'm able to just actually get into this pose a little deeper. And that's because I've aligned my knee joint with my ankle joint a little bit better. Hopefully that made sense. Again, if that did make sense and there's still some aggravation in your knee, ankle, or hip, those are important joints in our bodies, you can always ease out of this pose and even do this on your back. All right, that's a long time to be in pigeon. Let's take 2 more breaths. You're going to slowly come up if you were down low. Lean to your right side, sit onto your right side. You're just going to bring this left leg around to the front. I'm going to face you for this, but bring the soles of the feet together like that. Hold on to your ankles, your feet, or your toes, just so you can sit up nice and tall like that. If you can stay just like this. This is a great hip opener. This is cobbler's pose or bound angle pose, but you can also just hinge forward a little bit. And that will just put a little bit more emphasis on the inner thighs if you're needing that release. You don't have to go too far for this, especially if you keep an extended spine. Let me turn sideways again, and you can see that I'm maintaining a lengthened spine rather than rounding the spine, which you could do. It's not wrong to do. But you might feel a little bit more in the legs if you keep an extended spine. But if you need some flexion or a stretch in your back, go ahead and curve it or round it. All right, we're going to come right back up, nice and tall in the seat, but you're going to keep leaning back. We're going into boat pose. As you lean back, it's going to be less weight in the legs, so you can bring the knees together, maybe even float the feet into the air. Hold on to the legs, maintain that good extended spine. Tip your chin up a little bit, just like that. All right, let's move. Breathing in, exhale, cross legs, hands in front, hop or step back, plank, stay in plank. Take a shortcut to down dog. Now we'll take our lunge sequence on right side. Inhale, extend right leg straight up and back. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat, left heel to the ground, rise warrior 1, and our exhale warrior 2. If you're able, take this a little bit wider. Just wiggle the right foot forward a few times, not too far. Left foot back, same distance, and then lunge a little deeper. And just because we did that pigeon pose, you might feel some nice release here, and that cobbler's pose too. Let's take our side angle. Even here, you might be able to get a little lower, getting a little closer to the ground. Reach up into the air with this left hand, but same thing as before. We'll bring left hand down behind you or to your low back. Let's circle that left shoulder back to keep this good opening. Long spine. Feel as if you're moving out past your right foot. Let's inhale. Take this left hand back up into the air. Turn. Let's bring hands to the ground. Step back, plank pose. Complete your series here. And of course, it could be a shortcut again to down dog, cobra or up dog, downward facing dog. Hold in down dog. We'll do pigeon on the other side. And again, we're going to be holding that posture. So inhale, extend left leg up. Bend and twist open. Lifting the knee, feel the hip opener. Little twist in the spine. Arms, your shoulders, they should still be aligned. Just be aware if you're dipping into your right shoulder. Let's unwind it. Keep the knee bent, but bring the knee down to the ground behind left wrist, angled leg. Place the right knee on the ground. Use your right knee and toes to walk back. Now it's this transition that might put a funny little torque in the knee, especially if your left foot, in this case, you can't see my foot, but it's kind of flat and it's not doing anything. And it's putting a funny little twist in my knee. Now, my right knee is a little worse than my left knee. I don't feel it on my left knee like I did in my right knee, but I'm going to do the same variation as I did before. So even just flexing the foot, the left foot, helps to stabilize the joints, even if the leg is still angled here. And see if that helps. You might just be on your hands out front here or just down to your forearms. I'm going to see if I can bring this leg a little bit more parallel with the front edge of my mat. This is a little bit more intense in the hips. But again, I'm keeping the foot flexed, activated ankle, aligned with the knee, more sensation in that left hip opener. I'm going to come down. And again, you can always do the alternative. Just come out of this pose or soften it up. Lie on your back instead and do eye of the needle pose. It's basically just crossing, in this case, the left leg over the right thigh. And we'll get into that left hip flexor. I'm sorry, your outer left hip, I should say. Outer left hip and glute. All right, 3 more breaths. Very intense. Really want to get into these hip openers. When you're ready, we're slowly rising up back onto the hands. Take a seat off to the left side so we can swing this right leg around to the front. Return to our bound angle pose. Soles of the feet together. Hold onto the ankles, feet or toes. Nicely extended spine. Sitting up tall or hinge forward. You want to feel like you're leading with your heart and your chin going forward out past your mat. Hold there for a few seconds. If you want to fold a little deeper with that curvature in the spine, you're welcome to do that as well. Just a couple more breaths. Then our return to boat. So we're going to rise up, re-extending the spine, passing that centered mark, leaning back. Legs are light, bring the knees together, lift the feet, flex the feet. There's our boat. Hold onto the legs as you need to. Lift to extend spine, lift your chin, hold. Be sure you're breathing. A good emphasized exhale to engage your belly. Let's breathe in and exhale. Cross legs, hands in front. Hopper step back, plank pose, hold. Shortcut to down dog, bend knees, hips to sky. Then inhale, extend left leg straight up behind you. Left foot to the top of the mat. Warrior 1, plant the heel. Inhale, rise, first warrior. Exhale, opening warrior 2. Settling in, maybe taking a wider stance, more distance between the feet, lunging deeper. Side angle, reaching out, rotate the arms. Maybe this left arm is getting a little closer to the ground. Nice extension of right arm up into the air and then down behind you to low back or hip. Roll the right shoulder back, emphasizing upper back muscles and extended torso. Let's inhale now to re-extend right arm up into the air. We'll turn to bring hands down to the ground. Step back, plank pose. Complete the series, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, walk, step, or hop, both feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale to extend spine, and exhale to fold. Let's inhale, reverse the swan dive, return to standing, reaching high. Exhale, hands together and down to your heart. Very nice. Hold here for a moment, take a breath, and just bring your arms down by your side. Okay. Another balancing pose, kind of like tree. We're going to cross the leg and do the chair pose, okay? Very similar to pigeon pose with that cross leg. I'm just going to adjust my mat and we'll get set. So I'm just going to face this way. So we're going to start by shifting weight into the right foot, press into the ground nice and tall here, core engaged. Let's float the left foot up. Bend the knee, flex foot. Hold there for a second. Bend your right knee. The leg you're standing on, just bend the knee. And as if you're kicking a soccer ball with the left foot, just kick it and then cross ankle over thigh. If you can see, I flexed this foot. Remember how I was talking about how I flex my foot in that pigeon pose? We're doing the exact same thing here. So flex the foot to activate and stabilize all the joints. Place your hands on your hips. Then sit back into the imaginary chair. You'll feel that natural bend of the right knee, making a nice shelf for this cross leg. Okay, cross leg, flexed foot, stabilized joints. Hands on hips just help remind us that we're centered, hopefully centered and balanced. Nice alignment in the hips. The more I sit back and down, more extension through the spine, the more sensation I experience in my left leg. We're going to rise back up, uncross the leg, lift the knee with the flexed foot, plant the foot into the ground. Let's sweep both arms up into the air just to get a stretch. Reach high and then just down by your side. Roll the shoulders. Okay? Let's do the other side. Same thing, just now shifting weight into the left foot. Nice and tall. We'll float the right foot up. Flex the foot. Bend the left knee, the leg you're standing on. Soccer ball kick. Flexed foot. Keep it flexed. Cross ankle over thigh. Hold. Place hands on hips. And then start to slowly take your seat. Go as slowly as you need to and go as deeply as you'd like. You don't have to go too deep at all. If you need more stability to help you balance, maybe you've got a wall or a table or a chair nearby. Just place your hands on them and just use that to help balance. If you're able, sit back and down a little deeper so you really can get into that hip. And it might be a similar sensation as in pigeon pose, except we're just doing it in a standing, balancing fashion. Keep this right foot flexed so it stays stable and strong. Hands on hips to remind ourselves we're trying to maintain alignment in the hips. All right, let's stand up tall. Uncross the leg, lift the knee, flex foot. Plant the foot into the ground. Let's align the body by reaching up into the sky. And exhale, arms back down by your side. Very nice. Roll the shoulders. All right, we're going to repeat something we did earlier, which was that stretch or that reaching back sensation. Let's do that again. So we're going to inhale, take the arms into the air. As you exhale, bring the arms down and behind you. Reach, hold here, reaching, or again, interlace fingers. Reach down towards your heels with the knuckles, roll shoulders back, squeeze shoulder blades together. Take a little bend of the knees, take a chair-like pose. Go as deeply as you'd like. If your hands are resting on your backside, just a little lift so there's no more contact. Doesn't have to lift high at all.
Keep the neck neutral. Just be aware if you've lifted your head too high or it's dropped down too low. See if it's nicely aligned with the rest of your upper body. If you like, sit back and down a little deeper. Fold a little bit more. Maybe lift those folded hands a bit more. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Okay, let's get ready for a flow. You're going to stand up, release the fingers, reach up into the air. Inhale. Here we go. Exhale, swan dive. Back down towards toes, forward fold. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, bent knees, hands to the ground, hop or step back, plank pose. Right away, come on down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Hold. All right, we're going to inhale, extend right leg straight up behind you. Keep it straight. Exhale, bring right foot to the top of the mat. We're going to a high lunge. So left heel stays lifted rather than turning the heel to the ground. Keep it lifted. All 10 toes are pointing forward. Shifting the weight back towards that lifted left heel. So you can start to rise with an extended spine. Rise up, reach up into the air. This is high lunge. This is some balancing as well, even though both feet are on the ground, but that back foot isn't completely on the ground. So you're not as stable. So maybe lunge a little deeper, squeeze inner thighs together a little tighter, reach up a little higher. Follow me. Bring your arms down to your side. As you do so, hinged forward about 45 degrees. Keep reaching behind you with your hands. Reach back like this, or if you can, interlace fingers. Okay, just like we did in that standing forward fold. We're just doing it now in a lunge. We're shifting the weight forward. Just push through your back foot. Even step it forward a little bit if you need to get more pressure in the right foot, your front foot. So you can just step into this chair-like position. Just what we just did. Let's stand up, release fingers, reach up into the sky, and continue the flow. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, hands to the ground, hop or step back, plank pose. Come on down if you'd like, or take the shortcut. Chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. So the same thing other side. Inhale, left leg into the sky, straight line. Exhale, left foot straight forward up to the top of the mat. High lunge, right heel stays lifted. Shift your weight back, hands are light, so you can rise up into the air. Let's hold for balance. Lunge a little deeper. Squeeze legs in a little tighter. Pull belly in as well. Reach up a little higher. Now, bring your arms down by your side. Hinge forward about 45 degrees. And then reach back behind you. Reach for a second. Stay like that. Or if you can, interlace fingers. Knuckles maybe reaching back behind you. Now we're going to put weight into the left foot. But if you're really balanced, it's going to be a little tough to do. So you might literally need to step forward with that right foot so you're more pressured in the left. That way you can just easily step with the feet together into our chair-like position with those fingers folded behind us. Let's stand up tall. Release the fingers, reach up high. Good. Exhale, arms down by your side so you can shake it all out. Well done. All right, so you can see we're kind of combining all these things that I talked about. Hips, shoulders, and balance. Let's put a flow together. Let's come back up to mountain pose. It's basically all the same, but it's a little bit of a twist at the end. Hold on. Deep breaths as we prepare to move. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the sky. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, bent knees, hands to the ground. Step back, plank pose. Come down, chaturanga. Up dog. That's the breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, extend right leg into the sky. Bend and twist open. Returning to pigeon. Right knee comes to the ground. Angled leg. Maybe a flexed foot. See if you can establish that. Flex the foot.
Left knee and toes, crawl it back. I'm going to try to get the shin a little bit more parallel. This is going to line my legs a little differently. So everything stays aligned, less pressure along those joints, even though this is a deeper pose. As before, we're going to hold this. Nothing different, nothing fancy, just holding a little longer. Really getting into these hips. Maybe you're able to get a little lower to the ground, but of course that's not necessary. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Remembering this cross-legged position, because this is that, we get into that chair pose and cross the leg. It's very similar to this. Okay, let's rise up. Lean to your right side. Bring this left leg around to the front. Let's come to cobbler's pose, something a little different here. First, sit up nice and tall. Hold on to your ankles or shins, but then bring your hands behind you, fingers pointing backward. Push or feel the shoulders roll back, chest forward. Push into the ground with the hands. Feel like you're trying to lift your chest up. You might even tip your chin up. By pushing into the ground like this, we're getting a little bit more lift through the torso, which actually opens the hips. Your knees might have dropped open a little bit more for a bit more of a hip opener. All right, releasing that pressure. So we can bring the hands in front again. Maybe hold on to your shins, just so you can easily lean back to boat pose. Yes, bring the knees together, lift your feet. Maybe hands are free or hold on to the legs if you need to. Breathe in, we're gonna move right away. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank, hold. Shortcut downward facing dog. Here we go, we're gonna inhale, extend right leg up behind you, keep it straight. Right foot to the top of the mat, we're going to a high lunge. Balance on both feet, even though that left heel is lifted. Light hands rise up, reach, stabilize the body, engaging. Arms down by your side, hinge forward. Reach back, interlace fingers. All right, here's a little bit of a change here. We are shifting weight into the right foot. Step forward if you need to get that pressure in the right foot. Just enough so you can actually lift the left foot off the ground. So we're in a balance for a quick second. Bend your left knee. That's the leg you've lifted. Bring the knee forward like you're going to kick, but then kick the soccer ball, cross ankle over thigh. So we're in a chair-like pose, but now our hands are folded behind us, reaching back. Flexed left foot. Just like the pigeon pose. We're going to rise back up. We're going to tree pose, taking the arms out and up. Just reposition this left foot to the inside of the standing right leg. Just keep arms extended. Swing left knee forward. Plant the foot into the ground. Keep arms in the air. Reach. Exhale, swan dive. That's our sequence. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, hands to the ground. Hop or step back. Plank, come right down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg into the sky. Bend and twist. Pigeon. Left knee to the ground. Flexed foot. Right knee to the ground, crawling the right leg back. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm flexing the foot, trying to get my shin parallel to the front edge of your mat. Now, you don't have to do that. You can always keep that leg at an angle. Now, this is exactly the pose we just came out of, that cross-legged chair pose. It was our left leg crossed. So maybe we've already given a bit of a warm-up as we now get into pigeon pose that we're going to hold. If you can't flex your foot, that's okay. If you got some flexibility in the ankle and this feels fine for you, just stay as you are or make any adjustments. Three more breaths. When you're ready, slowly start to rise back up. Sit off to the left side. That will get you out of your pose. Just bring the right leg around to the front. Back to cobbler's pose. We'll do that same back bend version. Sit up tall first. Hands behind you to brace yourself. Fingers pointing behind you. Lean back a little bit, but push into the ground with the hands. Lifted torso, shoulders rolled back. Chest expanding. Heart lifting. Lift the chin a little bit. And there's that minor back bend we get. Now to add a little bit more, if you want, put more pressure into the ground with the hands. Lift your hips off the ground and send your pelvis down towards your heels. Now, again, that's putting a little bit too much pressure on my right knee, which has been giving me a little bit of problem. So I'm going to relax out of that. So you want to really listen to your body. Make any adjustments as you need to. All right, we're going to rise back up. Let's bring the hands forward to grab the shins or ankles, nice and tall in the spine, then boat pose. Here we go, leaning back, bring knees together, lift your feet. Free hands or hold on to the legs, whatever you'd like. Lifted chin, we're flowing, breathe in. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop back if you can or step back plank. Shortcut, down dog. Inhale, extend left leg straight up into the sky. Left foot to the top of the mat, high lunge. Arms reach out and up. Engage that posture of balance. Then bring the arms down by your side, hinge forward about 45 degrees. Reach back with your hands. Reach or interlace. Reach through the knuckles. Putting weight into the left foot. Even if you need to step forward a little bit, that's fine. So you can get pressure and weight into the left foot with the bent knee. Then lift that back leg, foot off the ground. Bend your knee, bring it forward enough until you can kick the soccer ball across ankle over thigh. And there's our cross-legged chair pose. Flex the foot. Hands are still reaching behind you or fingers folded, knuckles reaching back. Sit deeper if you can. Look at the ground. That might help with balance for this. Tree pose, we're rising up. If that foot needs to come to the ground, that's fine. Bring arms up into the air, reposition right foot to the inside of the left leg, or bring it to the ground to find balance, and then come to tree pose. Keep arms extended. We'll swing right knee forward, plant the foot into the ground. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, swan dive. There's our sequence. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Hop or step back plank. Come on down. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Hold for a moment to help re-extend spine. And when you're ready, we're just going to take another seat. You can just kneel down or hop forward. Cross your legs to take your seat. Find the center of your mat. And go ahead and lie down onto your back. So we finished all our big movements. Let's come to our closing sequence. Go ahead and lie back down. Hug knees to chest. Maybe a few circles here. Or just some movement to help massage the low back. All right, then bring the feet to the ground. Take the feet wide on your mat. Okay, so your feet are just kind of out on the edges of the mat. We're just taking another twist. We'll just call this windshield wiper. I think another name for this pose is, I think it's lightning bolt. I can't remember. But the feet are still on the ground, but they're wide and taking both knees to the left side. And it just creates a different sensation in the hips because the legs aren't stacked. If you need to stack them because it feels better, please do that. But if you can do this windshield wiper effect, you can do this. To add more sensation, here's a couple things you could do. This left foot, we can place it on top of that right knee and press it gently downward towards the ground to get a little bit more of a twist. And if you need more lengthening through that right side, take your right arm and reach behind you. And again, if that's too much, just lighten it up or change the pose completely. 2 more breaths. After the second breath, let's unbind. Let's come back up to center. Hold. Feel everything just kind of settle and melt into the ground as it realigns. And then our windshield wiper knees to the right. Modify this if you need to. If it feels better for you to stack your legs in a regular spinal twist, do that instead. If this feels fine, stay here or place right foot on top of that left knee with a gentle press down to create more of a twist. And to get more length through the left side, reach your left arm behind you. And just 2 more breaths. And then when you're complete, just take your time as you return to center. Let everything realign. We only have a few more minutes left in our practice, so feel free to add any other pose that you would enjoy here. It could be a hip opener, another back bend, even an inverted pose. Maybe you want to do legs in the air or shoulder stand, anything you like to do, or repeat some twists. Happy baby pose as a hip opener. So just go ahead and add anything that you'd like for the next few moments. And then whenever you feel complete with all of your added movements here at the end of our practice, make your way into Shavasana or any other restorative and relaxing position. As you find your way to a place of rest, allow your body to completely disengage. Just melt into the ground. Use any props to help support your body. Still taking slow, deep breaths. There's still a connection and awareness to the breath. Doing our best just to stay in this moment. Remember, this is your practice, so you're welcome to stay here as long as you need to. Although I might begin to move, you're still welcome to stay in this nice, relaxed position. But when you are ready to move, start with breath movement. So you might start with 5 slow breaths. As you're approaching your 5th breath, you might feel movement return to your body.
After your fifth breath, slowly and carefully roll to either side of your body. And then you can press yourself up to seated. Find a comfortable seat. Sitting up nice and tall, shoulders rolled back. You can just keep your arms relaxed down by your side with your hands on your knees or in your lap. You can even bring hands to heart center. Feel your breath. If you'd like, you can inhale and sweep your arms out and up. Reach into the air. Bring your palms together as you exhale and back down to your heart. And then just take one more breath here. And as we complete our practice together, we bow saying, Namaste.